Good evening, everyone. My name is Ruben Mercado. I'm a program manager here at SHIP, and tonight we have with us the leadership team from the Detroit Professional Chapter sharing best practices for member retention and just keeping your members engaged. So with us this evening is the SHIP Detroit President Marily Masaira and the SHIP Detroit Vice President Raquel Estrada. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to them to share their best practices, and we'll have some discussion and some questions a little bit later in the presentation as well. But thank you all so much for joining us this evening, and I'll let you go ahead and take it away.
Great. Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you, Ruben.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you for the lovely introduction. So we're here today representing SHIP Detroit, and happy to share some of what has worked for us. If you have any questions or want to continue the conversation, definitely follow us on LinkedIn, or send us an email. It's info@shepdetroit.org. All right, so I think we can get started.
And also you can also follow SHIP Detroit in social media.
Yes.
That's where you can see a lot of the events, or just get connected with us.
Instagram for
Yep,
sure.
Instagram or LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Okay, so
All right, so a little bit about our chapter. We were reestablished in 2012. So we had been inactive for, I think, 8 years or so. But since then, we've been steadily growing, little by little. We currently have 142 members, which I think has been honestly the highest that we've ever been. And also, you see in the picture here some of our e-board members. We're at 19 e-board members this year. That's definitely the most we've ever had. And we have a lot of like co-chair positions, just to help divvy up the work a little bit. We're focused on career readiness, leadership, and community impact. And of course, we're aligned with, SHIP's pillars, which are professional development, community and outreach, leadership and operations, as well as recruitment and retention. I will say within the Detroit area, we serve primarily the Southwest Detroit, basically just because it's predominantly Hispanic, and that's, our target area that we're reaching. We'll go to the next slide. So today's topic is about retention. So definitely is not accidental, right? To retain members, and it may be even hard. So we started shifting our thought of like having event-based planning, kind of like just checking the box, we have to do this, we have to do Noches Ciencias, we have to do that. And putting it more to a structured retention pathways, which we're gonna go into. But at the end of the day, retention happens very naturally when people feel value. So I think the member ourselves, even our leadership team, they have to feel value as a person, but also provide value to our community, so it has to be mutual. Within value, you want to have career value for us professionals to continue, growing within our career fields. And within that piece too, leadership growth is very, very important, as well as community belonging. I think SHIP provides a beautiful platform for us to feel very connected, within the Hispanic community. So having that sense of familia is very important. And honestly, when you have value, you have leadership growth and community belonging, retention just kind of happens naturally. I don't know if you want to add something, Raquel.
yeah, maybe I just want to add that we really tried the event-based planning way, and it was really I don't know, we were burned out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there were so many events, and we were trying to plan and have our professional life in a side, and also our volunteer, our families, or everything around it. And it's like we cannot do as many events as we want, because we were feeling like kind of frustrated when the events were not like successful, and successful will like no more than 10 people attended or something, and all this work and all this stuff. So definitely we shift towards being really intentional about our events, and what the focus of SHIP Detroit was is just like to build that community feeling, and definitely focusing in Southwest Detroit help a lot. So yeah, I think that we try different approaches, different ways of doing
Yeah.
things, and I feel like this has been like the most engaging one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so definitely less is more. Not trying to do it
Yeah.
all either.
Yeah.
Too many events,
Yeah.
but meaningful, impactful events.
And probably something that thought us that it was just like we really didn't have a budget. It was just like, you
Yeah.
know, we have grown and get like a little bit more budget based on grants or any all that stuff. But having no budget actually make you do things that are free.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you want to be intentional with those because yeah, as well.
What and apologies if this comes a little later, but I'm very interested. What was the most like helpful metric in terms of determining which events were, for lack of a better word, like worthwhile? Because like you mentioned, you're doing everything at first, and then you see some of them are like more successful than others. Was it like survey feedback, attendant, or just time of year? What were some important factors that you considered that helps clarify that?
Yeah, I think I just put on in all of them. It's like A, B, and C, all of the above a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, Malu will talk a little bit more about the surveys that we send over, to the participants and also the volunteers. But also, like Michigan is kind of seasonal, like in the summer, everybody's enjoying the nice weather, and like you cannot compromise many summer events, even though it's the nicest time of the
Mm-hmm.
year, is the one that we experience the attendance is low just because everybody's taking their summer vacations. But and winter could be like a trade-off. So yeah, we have learned from experience and we will talk a little bit more about it for sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely go into like what was the most valuable for our members, like what type of events.
Mhm.
All right, so we'll go next. I think what was key is having a lot of like entry points, I guess we'll call them. So a lot of events for our members, like either being new or returning to feel like they can just like pop in and just join the event. They kind of don't feel like, oops, I already missed the first two. Like, I don't know, like, should I even be coming or kind of feeling like they're behind? So we kind of wanted to focus on events that cater to different people. So
Mhm.
some events would have been more like career focused, some are going to be more service oriented, and some are more networking events. But by having different kind of events, I feel like people felt like, oh, I can just, pop in. This is the first networking event, I haven't missed anything. I can just join. So we'll go more into the career readiness workshops that we've had. But I'll add that having industry partnerships has been very, very instrumental
Mhm.
just because it helps increase the engagement. So whenever members come to our events, for example, people from Ford, the Ford Hispanic Network, they sometimes they don't even know, like, oh, you work at Ford, really? Where? So they have that connection, they take it back to their employers and then they continue that, they foster their network there. Same as GM and with Alpha, but also it helps us like network and continue growing our friendships, our just network in general. But yeah, industry partnerships have been key, I think, with everything that we do. And almost all of the events that we have, we are partnering with somebody. So one, to divvy up the load of work, but also have some responsibility on other, teams, like say, hey, GM, help us with this, or let's have this event at your facility, like we did for Hispanic Heritage Month. So now they felt like the sense of commitment to also kind of like give back to SHEP and support us in that way. Um, so that's a little bit some of our events, as well as conference participation. I'll go more into that one next, I think on the next slide there. But yeah, having social mixers, networking events, all kinds of like I said, like different kinds of events. Even though we are a professional chapter, doesn't mean we have to stick and just do professional development,
Mhm.
all the time, nonstop. People kind of get like, oh, okay, I'm done with another like conference or another workshop. So having the social events, but also having events that are service oriented, so something they give back to the community, because different people have different, I guess, just what they like differently.
Yeah. And I think that I will just add
Mhm.
that one of the events that we discovered that was something that we will constantly do is just have that partnership as well with universities, and have the partnership with the student chapter at, I don't know, University of Detroit or Wayne State or University of Michigan, or and
Mhm.
having that connection, it kind of align the pipeline, because we are ensuring that when they graduate, they go to our chapter, right? So we kind of conduct all these resume workshops or mock interview, blah blah blah, with students, and that's actually the photo that is there, the in the slide. We conducted this workshop mock interview before the SHIP conference, right? The
Mhm.
national conference. That was Madonna University? No,
No,
Detroit
Mercy.
Mercy. Detroit Mercy. Yeah. So we conducted that workshop, and we find out about, many students that they were about to graduate, and it was like, oh, just join the professional chapter. Once you're done with school, we're always volunteering. Just sign up for the newsletter. Just, and that's how we kind of create a pipeline of students and that become professionals.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
love kind of the pillars that you all identified for kind of focus areas for the events, like career readiness, and then there's the social like networking ones, and then there's the community outreach. Those are it's always helpful to have those clear, like in one sentence, this is the why of like why this event is happening and what you can expect from it. And to switch it up and have different ones available so it's not just like the same thing every time. That's a really smart strategy, and you all did a great job kind of
Mhm.
identifying those and structuring your calendar that way.
Oh, thank you. Cool. We'll go into kind of going back to your question, what is kind of like what keeps members coming? And based on just feedback, mainly from people that have stayed within our chapter and become leaders within our e-board, it basically comes down to career impact. When they feel like members that they're getting a positive impact in their careers, just kind of they just stick around because they're like, oh, okay, I've been part of SHEP, and now my manager kind of gave me kudos. He knows that I'm doing this additional work and this and that, and they feel like seen and recognized, but it's also helping them in their career. Not only that, but they maybe make connections that helps them jump from one company to another, or within the same company they get like inspired by meeting someone else, and then they grow and have a promotion. So just having that career impact kind of keeps our members engaged professionally. I'll talk a little bit about some of the events. So for example, resume and interview workshops. Um, the time that we went to GM, we had GM managers be the ones doing the interview, like mock interviews. So it was really nice because even our professional members, even though yes, we have jobs, they're still able to go and practice, and they're practicing with a manager that could potentially hire them, and you never know where that might lead. So not only attending resume and mock interviews, but also, like Raquel mentioned, the previous event we hosted a resume interview workshop at uh, I was gonna say high school, at a college, at a university, where our members are now the ones behind like the table, right, doing the interview, the questions, and we're putting students kind of like in the hot seat. So now our mindset is shifting to like, okay, what does a manager, a career would want to know, or like how can they give advice to the student for them to land that internship or land that job. So it's kind of like interesting because where some of us are entry level, like, within engineering, some are more advanced. So some are just giving feedback, but some are also learning and growing by being put in that position to give others constructive feedback. LinkedIn visibility has been, I think, huge within our retention of our members, because when we tag, like we'll post a picture and we'll tag everyone. Thank you, volunteers, such and such, or leader, for putting this event together. Thank you for being the presenter, and so forth. And now it's creating like networks. So they can easily just repost that. And now they're getting visibility through their own network, and they may have managers, directors, and so forth in their LinkedIn network. But yeah, there's been a lot of times that someone like comes up and they're like, yeah, they didn't know I was doing all of this work, and now my manager wants to stay involved, like it happened with my husband, and he's
Mhm.
like, I didn't know you were a part of this, how can I get involved? So now even others in your company are getting involved. But again, you're getting the kudos for the additional work that you're doing through LinkedIn.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about conference participation.
Maybe I was just going to add
Yeah,
something
go ahead.
to that. It's just basically the relationship we have with different companies. Like Detroit is a manufacturing hub, it's an engineering hub in general. So just to be part of, the Ford Hispanic ERG and also the General Motors ERG really help us to create that career impact. And it's kind of a win-win between like our chapter and also the different Hispanic ERGs in different companies. And definitely that's something that spotlight our members in social media. It could be LinkedIn, but also spotlight them into their ERGs in their company. So as
Mhm.
I was telling you, it's kind of a win-win, and we have been really strategic in finding these connections to companies. And sometimes a new member just join and it's like, oh, I can just connect you guys with our ERG.
Mhm.
So it's just like those are the things that we're always looking for doing. And you can go with the
Yeah.
conference.
Yep. So with conference participation, like everyone, I think we're all super excited about the SHEP National Convention. So we always encourage our members to go. Now, being professional chapter, a lot of our members, I'll say large, maybe 70%, the ones that attend, are going there to recruit. Because they're representing their company, and now as professionals, now they're kind of like their job is to help, bring the talent to their own companies. Very few go there to participate in the conference, but we are trying to improve that and just having like, through our WhatsApp group and having say, hey, who's going to the conference? Trying to create that momentum. Maybe others will kind of just go as attendees. But we know there's a lot of value with attending conferences. And one way that we've kind of like brought it more in-house, we partnered up with this organization called Compass, Coalition of Minority Professional Engineering and STEM Societies. So essentially, it used to be composed of NSBE, SWE, SHEP. This year just SWE had to like take a step back, but we're with SWE, we're Women in Tech, and a lot of other like minority STEM organizations. So one of the conferences that we put together this year is called Deaf Fest. And Deaf Fest is another well-known conference throughout the whole United States in different like chapters, so different regions. But we participated like a lot, I would say, on this
Yeah,
past
as an
time.
organizer,
As one of the
basically.
main organizers
Yeah.
this last time.
Mhm.
But we brought in like our stamp in and said, hey, we need to have a conversation about Hispanics and Black engineers in STEM and how that, provides value into deaf, the whole development, deaf software and all everything. But it was very well received like a panel. We got so much feedback saying, wow, this was needed. We really like loved it. We need to have more of this. So now it's gonna be kind of like part of the staple of that conference of the Deaf Fest. There were like over 600 participants, I believe, or
Yeah.
maybe 700 or so. Maybe 700 RSVP'd, but I think like 600 or so actually showed up. So it was a pretty large conference here in Detroit. But again, conference participation. So our members, we gave away some tickets to students to come to that conference. So again, connecting with all of those student chapters. We created discounts for our professional members to come and join. And on top of that, there was volunteering. So if anyone wanted to come and volunteer, again, it helped us with, SHEP booth and all of these things. But yeah, it was, I think, a really awesome event. Long story short, members are gonna stay if they see their own career momentum.
Yeah, and also
Mhm,
if they see the social connection as well,
mhm.
with the Hispanic community, because many of the members that that we have, they moved to Michigan for work.
Right.
Many of us are not from here, or they grew up in another state and came here, and when you come to Michigan, it's just like, okay, what what can I look for? Because it's a
Mhm.
really different
Yeah.
state when you come here. So it's just like you're looking for those connections here. So yeah, career momentum and social environment is the perfect combination for sure. Well, I'm going next.
I think that actually goes right into our
Yeah.
next one, belonging before performance. If you wanna.
100%.
Uh-huh.
So, I will just talk about the picture that we just put in this slide. That is basically our Sheptina night, Valentine celebration that we just did last week. Actually, it's a really recent photo. So we had this Valentine's event for Sheptinas that it was just like, not professional, not like interview prep, whatever. It was just like a relaxing night to celebrate woman, basically, doing like pottery painting. So I think that really creates a lot of momentum going. And they were asking, okay, when is the next event? Like just send me over, like sign me in with for the newsletter, whatever. And because we have many new attendees.
Mhm.
Yeah, we open
At
it
least
up
half.
for
Yeah.
everybody. It was not just for Chef, members, Chef Detroit. So yeah, we get to know fantastic women and that they attend that particular event. And yeah, we also have, some other events like Meet the Ivor social event. Early, I think that it was in fall because it
Mhm.
was in
I think
the
October
yeah,
or
October.
August, maybe.
October.
October.
And we had a family park day in collaboration with For Hispanic Network and Alpha Detroit, and also I think that in other photos we highlighted Detroit Tigers basketball, baseball event for Hispanic Heritage Month. That it was also really cool. And we are a big advocate for Equipando Padres. We basically have this workshop in Southwest Detroit every semester. And the cool thing about it is just like it's a bilingual community program, but also we have seen parents that they go back again to different sessions, like
Mhm.
they attend the first session, they attend the second session, they attend the third one. And it's been like, 6 months apart or something, but they keep going because they want to keep learning. So I think that that's actually really cool. And definitely inclusion is, intentional all the time. It's not assumed. We just make sure that our members feel welcome in any event that we do. So yeah.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
100%. I think we've kind of talked at this a little bit about it, but having that connection and trust kind of keeps our members coming back for more and more events. So yeah, we've been trying to be making some of these events actually earlier in the year, so that way we make kind of like friends, build those strong relationships, and then we come later into like October, November timeframes when it's time to do more volunteering heavy, prepping for the national convention and so forth. So yeah, this has been really, really nice events that we've gotten really great feedback.
Mhm.
Another like piece with it is leadership. So now that our members kind of feel included, they feel involved, they have friends, we ask them to lead events. Not only e-board members get to lead events, we always have like a sign-up sheet, for volunteers, a call out. Where do you want to lead? And now I think this has helped us a lot to grow our e-board to the size that it is, because everyone that's in our e-board has been like number one volunteer, like in a lot of different events, like in their own area, which is awesome because now that they came to be an e-board position, they want to focus and help within that area. So someone was more of the social chair and someone is like more equipando padres, like giving back to the community chair. But that's because we've seen them be like the number one leader in that, or always being there present in those events when we had them. So keeping our members engaged through, like I said, event planning roles, outreach facilitation, as well as going to conferences, whether as volunteers or as just participants, and having committee leadership as well. We have I don't know if we have a slide, but maybe we have a little slide later on. But we have a college fair coming up. It's our biggest event of the whole year. It's in April 18, and we expect over like 300 attendees. So it's a pretty large event. We put like all, all hands on deck situation.
Yeah.
So that's where we have very strict, like, and strong committee leadership. So different people lead different areas. I think we'll talk a little bit more about it. I think I saw a flyer later on, but yeah, having just delegating, the roles and responsibilities throughout our members as well as our e-board helps a lot.
And I think that also something that keep like the e-board aligned, or yeah, it's just to have monthly e-board meetings. I know that life happens. We know that life happens, so sometimes it's just like virtual, especially in the wintertime because the commute here in Michigan is not the nicest. But we try to do it in person as much as possible. We found like public library here close to the Dearborn area that we can book a room, like the one that is here in this photo is like a public library room that is we book for free. And basically that's our command center. We always go there. And because we have everything, and we can bring food and all that stuff. So I think that engagement really helped. We have been really successful doing the e-board meetings there during the summer and fall, but like winter, we definitely prioritize our member safety, just to have it online. But yeah, that's something that really helps a lot.
Yeah. And something that we're focusing to is making sure that they're not getting burned out, because there's definitely some members in our e-board that want to do it all and they're amazing at it, But sometimes we have, like, I as president have to be, well, like, okay, well, you've helped, you led this one and this one. Let's have someone else lead the next event, or let's, someone else take on a heavier load of the next event.
Yeah.
So it's even like making sure our own members are not getting burned out. And within clear roles and different kinds of roles, it's less confusing, like who should be doing what, kind of.
Yeah, and I think that also something that it's worth to mention is just to we are open for our members to let us know when they cannot do it. So if you are not, we know that work can be really hard. Professional life gets really hard, and with family and all their commitments. So if any of our member just talk to us, is like, I cannot support SHEP right now because there is so many things happening in my life. It's just like, no big feelings. It's all good. We understand. So it's like how to delegate their commitments to another people, and that's how our e-board is kind of. That's the reason why it's kind of so big. Like 19 members, like, oh wow, that's a lot. But we have dual roles. So there's some for example, the person in charge and another one that is supporting. So if somebody is not able to support or do whatever, the other secondary person kind of take the lead. So having that that type of commitment really helps a lot. Especially because we know that there is something always that is going to happen. We are just preparing for that.
Yeah. And it helps having them have like a partner bounce ideas off of, and kind of like have that accountability too. It's like, oh yeah, we really do gotta, get this event going. So it has worked a lot well for us having the co-chair positions.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next one. So we moved away a little bit from anecdotal feedback. So we've heard like, okay, what's worked in the past, this and that, but we honestly didn't really have a way to track it down, like put it on paper. And I know we all love data. So we started putting more surveys out there and different ways on how can we capture everything, all the work that we're doing, but also the impact that we're having to everyone else around us. So within LinkedIn, there's a lot of really cool like ways that you can get metrics, as well as on your website, as well as we use MailChimp for our e-newsletters, like electronic newsletters. So all of that is giving us different feedback, like who is the one clicking in all of our flyers, or who's the one, opening up all our emails. Through LinkedIn, they call these like views and impressions. So you can say 127,000 views and impressions. So people were scrolling through their, feed, and they saw it and they stopped. And the key thing here is like more than 30 seconds, they had to look at our post or our reel, whatever it was. And then that counts as one impression. So we had 127,000 and it kept growing. Definitely our social media manager is what has driven all of the
Yeah.
social media engagement. She's a
Yeah.
guru with everything. And she's not an engineer, but she is very committed to what we do.
Yeah.
So we are super happy with her. All kudos go to her. I told her you're making us famous.
Yeah. Oh my God, engineers managing social media is just
I know.
I don't know. We were doing our
We're
best.
struggling.
Yeah.
What is her background? She's not an engineer. I'm just curious.
I think she's a social worker.
Yeah,
Mhm.
social worker.
That's
She
so
does
cool.
something theater,
Community
community
engagement.
events.
Mhm.
So she
Yeah.
loves helping the community just in general.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
how we met her. Like, basically, she came and volunteered in one of our events, and probably she saw our social media. It's like, I can help with that. I was like, please help us.
I think we had, like, I don't know, 15 like members in our LinkedIn page. And then she came in and she started tagging people, this and that, and
Yeah.
posting reels and making it very fun and engaging. And you can see our growth across different platforms has gone from 600 to 4,000. So
Wow.
LinkedIn is probably like in the 4,000 range percent growth. I can't even remember how
Is
much.
there like in followers growth in LinkedIn?
Oh, LinkedIn.
Is 1,000.
That's
Yeah,
a
so we're
huge jump. That's so impressive.
351. Followers 351.
Yeah, 351 from
I think
don't
we
know,
were at
15.
18 or something. Yeah.
Just
Wow.
Just that you, but we're
Yeah.
like, you have to be part of our LinkedIn. And again, it was a new LinkedIn and everything,
Yeah,
but she's skyrocketed to where we are 351. Our Instagram is 375 followers, Facebook we're 470, TikTok is 19. We just opened up TikTok to try to like
Yeah.
connect with the younger generation. But we're not very strong with it, as you can see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so keeping track of how we're doing across the media platforms, and she creates an amazing report for us too, as like who the demographic is using what kind of, and what's working for whom kind of. So Facebook has worked for like our older demographic, like
Millennials.
my parents.
Yeah.
But what is good for our members is definitely being our LinkedIn presence. So
And Instagram.
an Instagram presence. So we always make sure keep those, like if we had to post something in one place, make sure to put it on those places. Keeping track of our volunteer hours. So I think this was as of January.
That is here.
Well, yeah, this was about feedback, but yeah, we're keeping track. Event impact tracker by leads and organizers. So we have these really two good ways of keeping track of all of our different events. So you can see here just simple Google form. So whenever someone is leading an event or being the main organizer, they have to fill this out after the event. So we'll just kind of like scroll through quickly. So we'll have our name of our event. These are some of the events we've had this year already. Quick, like what was the purpose? When did it take place? What chef value did we cover or best align with? Some will hit, more than one. But I will say some of this information is very important when we do the annual report, like they're quarterly, but we do two main reports, that is like written reports for Chef National. Again, like who are we partnering with? Who sponsored the event? How many people attended? Was it internal, external event? Was chef participation beneficial or value added? Like what impact did we have? And how many Chef eBoard membership members volunteer participated in the event? So here we can say, like 10 volunteers and the event lasted 2 hours. So we have 20 hours of volunteer on the actual event. Then we have obviously the planning portion as well. And then anything you want to add. So nothing too crazy, but very like important information that we can keep on using and kind of elaborating on to see what should we continue focusing on. And then this event feedback one is just for anyone that participates in our event. So they just select one. We used to do like one feedback form per event, but then we realized it's like, okay, now we have like, 15 different like sheets and we got to consolidate, and sometimes the questions are a little different. So now it's just one main form. Everyone can go here. So a recent one that we had was our Galentine's. What was the role? They could have been an attendee, a volunteer, organizer, partner, collaborator. So anyone can give us feedback how satisfied, what went well, and what can we improve on. Basically, two main questions that they're gonna put in, like, some good thoughts into, and then anything else. Or if we didn't put the name of the event and so forth, they can put it there. But yeah, this has been really important for us to focus on what can we continue improving. And this, I think, again, going back to member retention, helps our members and our, I'll say our participants feel valued and heard.
Mhm.
When someone tells us, hey, donuts are not really breakfast, and we know now, okay, maybe next time we can say donuts will be provided, or say, like, not having that
Yeah.
expectation, but now they know they're heard, and like, we're gonna bring better breakfast next time.
Yeah, for the next event.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also something important is just we every monthly EVOR meeting, we had kind of a retrospective from about the event that we host that month. So, and that's kind of internally within the EVOR, because not all the EVOR members kind of participate in all the events, of course. Or for example, the guys didn't went to the Valentine's, so it's just like we let them know what happened
Mhm.
there and how we felt internally, um, with the event, but also kind of go through the feedback and see what can we improve and all that stuff. So that helps a lot as well. And well, next, well, the communication strategy, we already talked a little bit about that. And
Mhm.
as we mentioned, Lily just does like a great job in doing all this communication, like the art or the flyers. Before it was we Mother and I were the ones that were doing the art, and I was like, ah,
Yeah, it was
I know
rough.
we know that it can be improved. But yeah, that it really helps to have nice flyers, or like videos or all that stuff in our social media really really help. And also, as Mama was mentioning, we do have a newsletter with all the events that we kind of host. Or for example, a community member can let us know, oh, I do stand-up comedy and I will just present this this day in a Spanish stand-up. So it's just like, okay, we will just send it over to the community to see whoever want to go, and support him as part of, he's part of our e-word as well. And we definitely leverage WhatsApp to get in contact with our community members or all our volunteers. That's our main, way of communicating with them. When they sign up for an event, we always kind of create a link to a WhatsApp chat, and that's how we notify them about like anything related to that event. We have a WhatsApp, what is community, right?
Community, yeah. So no, it's been awesome, and I think it's been great to see our members just interact a lot within our different platforms, but definitely WhatsApp is very easy. Everyone has WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So even people putting, hey, job postings, like,
Yeah.
hey, anyone interested in this? Like, I have this opening in my job or this or that. So it has created a really nice just connection overall. But I'll say that staying consistent with all of our communication strategy. So before, maybe we would post on Instagram, but not or LinkedIn, and then it was a little bit like, eh. So now it has to be the same thing, all the platforms. But even like the same, now that Lily we have on our team, Instagram gives us, like the nice, beautiful like reels to do all of that stuff, and we can translate that into LinkedIn, like the videos. But maybe that doesn't translate well in email, in a monthly newsletter. So she'll create like a very similar, what was kind of like the content of there, put it into the e-newsletter, and then we have our another person that manages the newsletters. So she will send that out. So being consistent throughout everywhere. Yeah. We'll go next.
Yeah.
Just some challenges that we faced in general is converting, like I'm sure everybody, first time attendees to long-term members. It's always kind of hard to kind of go over the hump. But if we continue focusing on the value that we're providing them, we're seeing those numbers kind of like steadily increase. We also have struggled with maintaining engagement between large events, because a lot of the times we'll get burned out and we're like, oh, we just need a break. Like nobody, so it's been sometimes hard to like stay connected. Like, for example, we had like the big Michigan Deaf Fest in October. Now we're preparing for our college fair. So we just had our Sheptinas, but we could have had a little,
Or
maybe
we have
something.
the winter mixer.
We had a
right?
winter mixer social, so it's sometimes hard, you know, to keep the momentum, to keep an event maybe every month or so. So we definitely acknowledge after large events, there's a little bit of like, okay, everybody, downtime, let's settle down and then continue. So again, maybe some people miss the large event and then they're waiting on us to like do an event and we're not doing that for them. Capacity limitations. So sometimes based on the venue, you know, capacity, maybe more people want to attend, but like we've mentioned, less is more. For example, our Sheptinas, Galentines, we had to limit it at 15 because we didn't want to overdo it either. We didn't want to be too cramped. You know, we wanted to keep it, very like, you know, connected. So something that not we struggle too much, but yeah, it could be a challenge sometimes keeping that capacity. And now maybe we're turning away members that wanted to come to that event, but we want to make sure that again our events are intentional and we want to create close connections. And then tracking consistent participation. So even though we do have like, you know, our surveys like you've seen, nothing is perfect. So we're not 100% like always tracking of everybody who's doing what and by name and kind of thing like that. So that's another challenge that we're facing, but we're looking into like see how we can improve.
Yeah, and I think that number 3, capacity limitation, is also can be translated to the personal limitations or the personal capacity of each one of our members. We understand that Michigan is, you know, a wide state, so you have to do a lot of commute if you want to kind of come to downtown Detroit. And we have some members that are, I don't know, 1 hour, 1 hour and a half away. So it's just like, okay, they think about, you know, doing that commute, and we understand that. So that's why we try our events to the social events mainly to be on a Saturday, because we know that can be really challenging if it's in a weekday. But you know, sometimes people can only do so much, and we understand that too. So we have members that they just have different things, as we were talking earlier, that they need to step away, look for a bit, for a year or 6 months, or sometimes like 2 years, and they come back and it's like, okay, the doors are always open, you know, like, and you can just do and volunteer as much as you can, and we appreciate that. So, but definitely that's sometimes challenges that we cannot definitely control, but it really sometimes hurt the organizations when there's like a really engaged member that suddenly they have, I don't know, a job transfer. So they are moving from, I don't know, like a close city to a farther city. So it's just like, yeah, we just need to cope with that. And yeah.
Something just I guess, you know, something everyone should be doing is leveraging Shep Nationals, all of the opportunities that are provided to us. Definitely convention, like attending that, and even volunteering, staying involved with that. There's a lot of career resources on their website. We have leveraged Equipando Padres a lot. So we've done it 3 times now. We were, I think, one of the first ones, like the first round of Equipando Padres in a box to do it. And now we're considering doing the virtual one as well. So we really love that program just because it's really like rewarding for our volunteers and our members to give back to the parents. It has been very value added all around. Having smart objectives framework. So when we have events, making sure that what we're doing, like, you know, it's intentional, like we've mentioned, not too many, like just for fun event, just because why not? Like, you know, we have to have something like deep and valuable also for the community or for your career as well. Also regional collaboration, staying connected within our, you know, Region 6, making sure what is going on around us and making sure we're supporting the region as well. Yeah, so just some overall staying connected, just overall Shep National as well.
Yeah, and it's been incredible. As I was mentioning before, many of our members, they just moved to Michigan because of work opportunities, but they know Shep because they were part of their student chapter in their university. And the first thing that they do is just Google Shep, whoever in Michigan. So that's how they find us. So I think that definitely leveraging this community really creates a lot of impact. So
Just some overall takeaways. So retention improves when career impact, leadership opportunity, and belonging are intentionally designed into the chapter structure. So, like we said, it's not about doing more events, but just meaningful events. I talked about value, so measurable value, making sure we're valuing all of our volunteers, our members, like connecting with them at a personal level, feeling like having them feel valued, and then in a way later on helping, like, hey, you want to help us with this, volunteer position, this and that, and now giving them an opportunity for them to provide value to the community. So yeah, so it's definitely just gotta keep at it. It's a whole ecosystem. It's not a one, thing is one, what is it called?
one
One,
solo.
yeah. It's a little complex, but yeah, if you keep kind of like in all these areas, retention slowly kind of just
Yeah.
builds on.
And definitely Malu and I we were part of the SHEP youth and student chapter. And it's really different when you go to a professional environment. So we try to get the best of both worlds, like in the student one, yeah, it was just like student success, but also kind of social, and try the social aspect also in the professional one,
Mhm.
because we realized we were doing a lot of community engagement and a lot of, like professional development, but we were not providing our members the social aspect that many of us are looking for, like just to create new connections. And that's something that we really focused last year in this year. It's kind of something new, we thought, oh, like everybody will be friends when they go and volunteers or whatever. But actually that those connections doesn't happen. And when you create that family environment or that, connection between members is when they definitely come back.
Mhm.
And that everybody's seeking for that, like belong to a bigger community. And that's something that we really like to, provide to our members. It's just like that familiar feeling for sure. An event that is not here that we hosted, it was just like a Super Bowl watch party for the recently. So that was like a really cool event, social event. I remember volunteer his house. It was like, well, I love football and I love Bad Bunny, so I will just host this. And like we just invited everybody that want to attend. So that was really cool. So as I mentioned at the beginning, you don't have to have like a lot of money to just create these socials connections, or these social events.
Mhm.
But yeah, that definitely helps a lot. Okay,
Thank y'all so
thank
much.
you.
This was awesome. This is really thorough. I had a bunch of questions that you all answered all of them. This is really great, and you all have done really impressive work. I wanted to especially shout out I love what you're doing in terms of like volunteers and using that as a bridge to leadership positions, because that is one of the big things we hear a lot is that, yeah, I'll come to like socials and I'll come to meetings and stuff, but if they have something they can kind of put on their resume or something that's like they're actively contributing, that goes a long way to retention and also helps you all because you know the leadership board can't be in
Yeah,
place forever. So now you know like who's reliable in what spots, stuff like that. So that's really smart.
yeah.
I love that a lot. I did want to ask or talk more about the piece of like getting company involvement, which you all identified as like one of the big things, like having sponsorship for different events and stuff. I definitely agree that's critical. You mentioned a lot of times it's members that you have that are working at these companies. Do you have like, is that usually the case, or do you have best practices for like reaching out to like a company that maybe you don't necessarily have a connect with, or is that an avenue you've gone through also?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely is the easiest way is to have a member that already works in this
Mhm.
company, and that's the one that we leverage a lot. But that doesn't mean that we don't have a sponsorship package. Actually, one of our EBOR members is the one that is in charge of all this sponsorship or, like company involvement. So he's the one that kind of reach out to companies and kind of showcase, SHEP, Detroit professional and how they can get involved. the most successful way is definitely having like a man inside, you know, because right now we're still like trying to, and this is someone new, reaching out companies that we don't have members inside. That was like maybe last year. We started last year, and we're still kind of waiting for some responses, because once you send over that email or that sponsorship package or whatever, you never know who is going to reply, or
Sure.
if so definitely the best advice is just to bring on board those professionals that have connections with their ERG. And usually all the members in SHAP, they do have connections in their work ERG, because we are driven by that community feeling, and we're always looking for that. So yeah, that helps a lot.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, I know we're right at time, so I want to be conscientious of you all's time. But again, this was great. I know this is going to be a really valuable resource existing for our members. And just thank you all so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Roy.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Please follow